A beautiful morning to you out there, esteemed listeners. This is Carnival Radio, Enjoyment Unlimited Station, and you are very much welcome to Carnival Radio Breakfast Show. This beautiful morning, and this is Newspaper Review. I am Ibrahim Adebayo. These are the headlines in the newspaper. Flooding, dredge rivers, Niger, Benue now, Senate tells Tinubu. South Korea investor planning for refineries in Nigeria. Minister Lokobiri denies directing NNPCL to halt refinery operations. FG 31 members panel to begin talks with ASU. Violence, Fubara orders probe. Wike allege disobedience to court order. Now the news in detail. Flooding, dredge river Niger, Benue. Now Senate tells Tinubu. The Senate has asked President Bola Tinubu to direct the immediate dredging of river Niger and Benue as part of preventive measures against flooding. It also while directing the National Emergency Management Agency (NEMA) to immediately reach out to affected communities and provide relief materials to victims. Asked the president to facilitate dredging of both rivers in the 2025 budget. The upper chamber equally asked the Federal Road Maintenance Agency (FEMA) to intervene in the rehabilitation of Suwa, Jigalambu and Baladega Bridge, and mandated the Committee on Legislative Compliance to ensure FEMA carry out its resolution. Record that early this year, the Senate had, at an emergency session, equally resolved to facilitate the inclusion of the dredging of River Niger and Benue and other rivers projects in the 2024 appropriation bill. The plan was expected to help combat recurring flooding and its debilitating effects around the country. The resolution of the Senate yesterday was sequenced to a motion sponsored by Senator Amos Yohana, PDP, Adamawa North. For more details on the news, you can visit the Vanguard newspaper. Flooding, dredge river Niger and Benue now, Senate tells Tinubu. South Korea investors planning for refinery in Nigeria, says FG. A consortium of investors from South Korea has concluded plans to build four 100,000 barrel capacity refineries in various locations in Nigeria. The federal government announced this yesterday. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Enike Lokobiri, stated this at the maiden edition of a summit organized by the Crude Oil Refinery Owner Association of Nigeria in Lagos. According to him, the federal government is encouraging investors to build refineries by providing an open environment for all. Lokobiri noted that the approval was recently granted to invite the consortium, the name of which he did not mention. The oil minister said this will yield results because the federal government is open to equity investment in modular refineries and other upcoming refineries as a step to ensure energy security. He spoke further that, and I quote, "We will ensure the deregulation of the downstream sector is 100% and put in place in a necessary framework that will ease the impact on the poor masses." Lokwobiri said, though the PIA created the Petroleum Ministry and Natural Gas Infrastructure Fund, which sourced its fund from the sales of crude petroleum products in the country, the thought of the minister was that a portion of the fund is used to support the infrastructure development for refinery, like in the gas value chain. In an effort to discourage crude oil theft and illegal refinery, he said the ministry had set up an international agency committee on homegrown solutions to in-country refinery. For more details on the news, you can visit the Punch newspaper. South Korea investors planning for Nigerian refineries, says federal government. Minister Lokpobiri denies directing NNPCL to halt refinery operation. The Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Senator Enike Lokpobiri, said he did not direct the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL) to stop running its refineries and focus solely on equity participation in others. Some media had reported that Engineer Kamoru Busari, Director of Upstream in the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, who represented him at the event in Lagos, as stating that he directed the company to focus on equity participation in other refineries. But in his press statement, the Minister of State Petroleum Resources stated, and I quote, "My attention has been drawn to the statement made by Engineer Kamoru Busari, Director of Upstream and the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, who represented me at a recent conference in Lagos. I wish to categorically state that the claim that I directed the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL) to stop running its own refineries and focus solely on equity participation in other refineries is false. This does not represent my position as minister overseeing the oil sector, nor does it reflect the stance of the federal government." For more details on the news, you can visit the Vanguard newspaper. Minister Lokobere denies directing NNPCL to halt refinery operations. Federal government 31 panel to begin talks with ASU. The Federal Ministry of Education has set up a 31-man panel to renegotiate the agreement entered into between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of University. The committee, according to findings by correspondents, will be inaugurated next Wednesday. This move by the federal government is part of the plan to avert a potential disruption in the academic calendars of university following a fresh strike threat issued by ASU. Speaking to newsmen in Abuja, the Director of Press, FME, Folashade Boriowo, said, and I quote, "The government has started working and I am sure that ASU won't be embarking on a strike because a number of developments are ongoing. A 31-man renegotiation committee has been formed and that will be inaugurated next Wednesday." ASU recently issued the federal government a 14-day ultimatum to resolve several lingering issues, failing which it will embark on a fresh round of industrial action. Among others, demand ASU is seeking the conclusion of the renegotiation of the 2029 Federal Government of Nigeria/ASU agreement based on the Nimi Bridge Committee drafted agreement of the 2021, as well as the release of withheld salaries due to the 2022 strike actions. Additionally, ASUU is demanding the release of unpaid salaries for staffs on sabbatical, part-time and adjoint appointments affected by the integrated payroll and personnel information system, as well as the payment of outstanding third-party deductions such as check-off dues and cooperative contributions. The union is also seeking funds for the revitalization of public university, partly captured in the 2023 federal government budget, and the payment of the end academic allowance, also partly captured in the 2023 federal government budget. ASUU President Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, in a statement issued last Wednesday, expressed frustration with the government's lack of commitment and delayed tactics, stating that these actions were fueling a crisis in the public university system. For more details on the news, you can visit the Punch newspaper. Federal Government 81 member panel to begin talks with ASUU. Violence. Fubara orders probes. Wike alleges disobedience to court orders. Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has inaugurated a 7-member Judicial Commission of Inquiry to investigate the arson, killings, and destruction of property at various local government council headquarters in the state. This was contained in a statement issued by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Nelson Chukwudi. Yesterday, Fubara inaugurated the commission at the executive chamber of the Government House in Port Harcourt. The commission, which has 1 month to conclude its assignment as Justice Ibigwin Rosaline Menakure as chairman and Mrs. Iyingibran as the secretary, and Uso Ikenga as counsel. The other members are Felicia Nwoke, Professor Blessing Didia, Sir Samuel Egbel, and Venerable Alex Osifo. The government said the burning of the local government council secretariats on Monday seemed like a repeat of 2014 during the build-up to the general election of 2015, when courts were set ablaze, residents bombed, and people killed, leading to the closure of courts in Rivers State. He added that his administration would not look away while he guided youths and sponsored political thugs turned the state into a theater of violence without being made to pay for such crime against the state. He said, and I quote, "I have decided to take this action to find out the immediate and remote causes of these arson. Most importantly, no matter the personality involved, we must bring them to book." For more details on the news, you can visit the Punch newspaper. Violence. Fubara order probes. Wike alleges disobedience to court orders. Before we bring the newspaper review to a close, these are the headlines again. Flooding. Dredge River Niger and Benue now. Senate tells Tinubu. South Korea investors planning for Nigerian refineries, says federal government. Minister Lokobiri denies directing NNPCL to halt refinery operations. FD31 member panel to begin talks with ASUU. Violence. Fubara orders probe. Wike alleges disobedience to court orders. And that ends the newspaper review on Carnival Radio. Thank you so much for taking time to listen to us this morning. I am Ibrahim Adebayo. You can download the Carnival Media app from the Google Play Store and iOS App Store. Do enjoy the rest of your morning. Carnival Radio Breakfast Show still continue.